Part two of my creepy neighbor. I called him Lurch. Um, I kept my distance, and I immediately did a binding. I warded my entire apartment. I hung an image of the angel of death on my window because Halloween came up and in September, like a month later, and I just warded the shit out of my apartment. And he never knocked on my door again. He never knocked on my door. And in the rare occasions where I managed to encounter him briefly in passing, I made sure to not make eye contact, and if he said something, I kept walking. I made it very clear. I imagined a force field around me that he could not penetrate. I also acquired bear spray, and I was fully prepared for the blowback. I did not care. I wouldn't feel it. The adrenaline, it would burn like a bitch, but it would stop him. And he was a big man. He did not drive. He rode a bicycle. For the most of his adult life, he was a vagrant after the Navy. He just went from place to place getting line cook jobs and just making enough cash till he could just go to the next town and be a vagrant with a job. And he rode a bicycle all over America doing this. So that's kind of fascinating, right? And that was a story he told me when the day I moved in. So I was like, well, that's pretty cool. But then I find out that he was involved in 2 murders in the Grand Canyon, that he was in some way implicated. He wasn't convicted, but he was indicted. And I was warned by my other neighbor to stay very far away from him. And so, yeah, I went to the office a couple days later and I told them what happened the day I moved in. And then a couple days, like after I had let a day or so pass, and then I went to the office and made the report and kept them abreast of what was going on with him. And that's when they confided that they were doing what they could. And I said, okay. So I did a ritual and added my intention to that. And he was gone a few months later. In the meantime, my son to live with me. And when that happened, I never saw him again. I never saw him again. He was gone right shortly after that. It didn't take long. So, hindsight being what it was, I shouldn't have opened the door. I shouldn't have even acknowledged. But there's a part of me that wanted to let him know that I wasn't afraid of him. And that was pretty stupid. But I have a tendency to just I don't know. I try to scare men. I give off a very specific vibe. And in real life, this lets men know that I'm not available, that I'm not interested. I don't want to have conversations about these things. I don't want strange men asking me out. I really don't. It makes me uncomfortable. It really does. I can't help it, and I've learned to embrace it, and I understand that it's part of my healing. It's completely okay for me to just not want to be interested in dating men intimately or romantically. It's just my relationships with men do better when they are professional and respectful. That's the only way my relationships with men have ever worked at all, is professionally, because of something, that in the workplace, people have to be professional regardless of gender. And they have to treat each other with respect regardless of gender. So it's a very gender neutral as far as how people are expected to be treated and to treat others. So I like that. So professionally, working with men, I absolutely have no problem with it at all. Professionally, I enjoy my relationship with my male colleagues. Absolutely, because it's professional, it's respectful, it's nobody's ever being inappropriate. Everybody knows how to be respectful, say please and thank you, not make inappropriate jokes, not make things inappropriate for someone to make someone uncomfortable. It's a very healthy environment to work in because it allows everybody to focus on what we're all there for, and that's work, our jobs, without being distracted by nonsense and drama. So that's the goal. And so it's nice to be able to work in an environment like that and have relationships with men that have that level of respect and courtesy and dignity, and everybody is expected to treat everyone with the same level of respect. Nobody gets favored because of their gender. I like that because it means we have to deal with each other, as equals. And in some cases, I am the boss, and what I say goes. And the person I might be instructing is a guy. But I have people over me who are male who have a higher rank of management, and when they tell me to do something, I don't get mad about that. I don't think that I'm being targeted or bossed around by a man. I think that's a manager who's outranks me, so whatever he says is what we're going to do because he's my boss. And if he was a woman, it would be literally the same response. No difference in gender. I don't recognize that gender. I recognize authority within the workplace and who's got it. And so that's what makes it healthy for men and women to work together, is when you're in this like gender neutral environment where gender doesn't really play a role in who gets respected or who gets promoted, because everybody has the same shot at being promoted. Or, you know what I mean? That there's no gender bias going on. It's like, do the job. You're there to do the job, and you get the same respect as no matter who's in that role. They're going to get the respect of that role regardless of gender. That's how it's supposed to be in the workplace, and it should be that way in society. It should be. But situations do arise, but they all get treated with the same. They all get treated the same. Like, they all get treated equitably. Being human is something we can all relate to regardless of gender, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you identify as. You're always going to be human, and we all have that one thing, thank God, that ties us all together, male and female. And we all have human experiences, and at the end of the day, everybody, regardless of gender, wants to live in peace, to be able to afford rent, to be able to afford groceries, to be able to take care of their families, and not be angry all the time, right? Like, all of us want that. All of us want that. At this point, gender doesn't really matter.